Okay. Yeah. I'm going to be talking about the banks, the eating joints, grocery stores, pharmacies, entertainment, and pretty much what all these are all the things that you may want to know. I'm going to be discussing about the Indian restaurants available as well. So yeah, that's there too. So there are like three banks in Blacksburg: Truist, Atlantic Union, and Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, all of these are within range, like accessible through bus. So their addresses and their phone numbers are there. You can start booking your appointments if you have a US number already. You can start booking your bank appointments right now itself. But if you don't have a US number, I am not sure, but I don't think you can book that. Uh, so that's there. So all of these are accessible through buses or cabs or anything that you want to travel with through these banks. And most students go for Wells Fargo or Truist. And usually if you get an appointment, if you start booking an appointment once you're at VT, you may get like appointments of 1 month later because a lot of students open their accounts at that time. So they're pretty packed at that time. So just keep in mind when you think about that. Moving ahead, there's the eating joints in Blacksburg. So there are three that are majorly known, which is El Rodeo, Hamrose, and India Garden. So India Garden is like a proper Indian restaurant, but you won't get the exact Indian taste, but you will get some sort of it. And then there's Hamrose Kitchen, which is a Nepali Indian restaurant. So that's there too if you're craving for Indian food. Then there's El Rodeo. So it's not an Indian restaurant, but it's popular in Blacksburg. So you can definitely go there as well. The address and phone number is again present in the slides, which is given, and their website as well. Next, moving ahead. So major grocery stores in Blacksburg are Oasis, which is basically offering Indian and Asian items. So you can get a lot of Indian food there as well, like pre-packaged food, whether it be some sort of snacks or chips, I doubt. So, but yeah, you get a lot of stuff there. This is also accessible through bus. There's two Krogers as well. And yeah, so all of these locations that I'm telling mostly are in the downtown, which is like a 10-minute walk or 5 minutes walk from the campus, or are accessible through bus. Then moving ahead, we have groceries. Oh, we have more grocery stores, which is Food Lion and Walmart. So Walmart is like quite far, I would say, but again, accessible through bus. It's in Christiansburg. It's about like 20 to 25 minutes bus ride. And then there's Food Lion as well. And then in case if you have any kind of medical needs, then there's Blacksburg Pharmacy or CVS. You can get almost all prescription medications from these pharmacies, but just check with your insurance company before visiting a pharmacy on what medicines would be covered and what won't be. Um, Again, insurance is something that you should have before you reach Blacksburg rather than getting it once you're there. And most coverage starts from 1st of August for the insurance. So yeah, all of that details will be given in the next webinar uh, about student medical and other insurance companies as well, like really be giving a brief. And then for some fun, so usually during the fall, there's football match that happens in the Lane Stadium, so you can go there and cheer Hokies. Okay. Then there's shopping mall. There are shopping malls, which is like University Mall, Blacksburg, downtown, or you can even go to Christiansburg. There are many shops over there as well if you just want to just shop around or look around. And then there are two movie theaters. One is BNB Theaters, which is in Blacksburg itself, and one is in Christiansburg, which is Regal New River Valley. Uh, in these, mostly if you're interested in Bollywood movies, usually from what I've seen, they're not there. They're released in the ones in Roanoke. So there's one in Roanoke too. Next up is safety. So I would like Hasti to take over from here.
Hi guys. So in safety, I want to go through three main topics: public safety, VT police, and Title IX report. In public safety, there are like various operational units. Firstly, it's emergency management. So it's basically built to improve and sustain the university resilience. The officers takes on all the hazards approach to continuously further the capability. It is basically to, manage whatever in case of emergency it's there. And second, then it is the environmental health and safety. It promotes a positive integrated safety culture for the university community and advocates safe and healthy living, learning, and working environments. Then comes the police department. The Virginia Tech Police Department, it strives to enhance the safety and quality of life for students, faculty, and visitors. It is quite active and it is going to be there for you all the time, so there's no need to worry. They also have rescue squads, which provides highest level of emergency medical services to the students. All of it is there, and there is like there is no need to worry so much about the safety in Blacksburg. You also have VT police. So the emergency phone numbers are on the screen. And there are around 118 blue light emergency phones, which is located outdoors on Virginia Tech's Blacksburg campus. And it is available 24/7, 7 days a week. And you can contact them anytime. So there's no need to, it is not a big concern. They also have sexual violence response. So there are usually not many cases of sexual violence that I've heard of, but if in case students face this, they are available for you, and they have officers and detectives that will work with you to arrive at a decision that is best for you and your safety. So there are few ways to report the sexual violence. So first of all, you have to call 911 and speak with the officer. Usually, they ask you like what the incident is and how do you want to approach with it. So everything is done very in a very good procedure, and you won't face any kind of difficulty. And then second is to go to the public safety building, visit the Virginia Tech Police Department in the public safety building, which is in the campus. So you go and speak with an officer there, and then you also can complete an anonymous form. This option does not allow for outreach efforts, clarification, or other follow-up. It is usually for a police investigation. Then the last topic is the Title IX report. So basically, it is committed to provide. Virginia Tech is committed to providing a safety environment consisting with our principles of community, free from harassment and violence of any kind. The report I was talking about, the sexual violence report. So it is basically this Title IX report which you can fill in, and the measures will be taken accordingly to the person who has committed the crime. And you can also get assistance which will be available to you whether you choose to report or not, no matter where you're located. And confidential resources cannot share identifying information about you. So you don't have to reveal your identification. So it is there to support and advise you on all the decisions. So these are some of the important resources. For the Title IX coordinator, Katie is there. You can call her, and you can also, like in case of emergency related to health, you can go to the Shipford Health Center. All the email ID and phone numbers are given, so you can work accordingly on that. Mhm.
Next up is the reminder for housing forms. So we see that many queries are there that we are looking for roommates. So if you just fill out this form or just want to see the responses, you can contact people from this form. This is like a very helpful form that we have personally used, and like it has helped us. And then there's travel forms as well. So you can just see which people are traveling when and which at which flight. And if they match with you, then there's someone that's going to VT with you so that you're not alone. So you can even use these forms. And then next up is we are recruiting for next officers of ISA. So what do you get by being part of ISA's leadership experience? Then letter of recommendation based on your performance. If you're performing well, we are definitely going to give you a letter of recommendation if you ask for it. And then you can network with a lot of people as you talk to, you get part of like, let's say, sponsors. So you like, if you're part of like the sponsoring management team or something like that, and then in that case, you're able to contact them and then you're able to enhance your communication skills. You get to build new contacts, you get to know a lot of people through ISA. Then you have both personal and professional development through ISA and friends. That's there always. So do apply to ISA if you're interested. You can scan the QR code there and apply. And just a few handy links that you might require. So if you haven't joined our Fall 2024 group already, there's the link to that. You can access through it. Do follow us on our Facebook page, our Instagram handle, and if you have any feedback for us on this webinar, scan the QR code and you should be able to like see better webinars from next time if there were any issues. And there's the important emails of Shifford, Cranwell, so you can contact them if required. And we have a website as well and a link tree where all the important links are there, whether it will be related to housing, travel, or anything like that. Now we would like to open the floor to questions. So if you guys have any, just drop them down in the Q&A section. No, there's no, it's not necessary that the questions are related to this webinar. It can be related to anything. So feel free to drop them down.
So someone has asked, is Roanoke safe if I arrive by Amtrak? Yeah, Roanoke is really safe. If you arrive by Amtrak, it's you don't have to worry about this.
This is Nikhil. I have not attended previous webinars for that.
Nikhil, what was your query? Could you speak up again? Okay, moving forward, there's a question about can graduate students join the leadership team of ISA? What roles are available? So yes, graduate students, undergraduate students, it's open for everyone. The positions that are available is being part of the student affairs team, which is student affairs coordinator or marketing or events team or logistics, and there's photographers as well. So the details about what your jobs and responsibilities would be for each of these roles will be there on the form. So you can just check over there. And if you have anything, you can reach us out as well on WhatsApp or our mails. We will be available and ready to answer your questions about that. Some details on credit card and about it. So Krishna, about credit cards. So initially, if you don't have an SSN, the only credit card that is available is like Zolve or yeah. So there's Zolve without that you can get without SSN. It takes account of your Indian credit history that if you have one. And then there's Nova Credit as well. I've heard of it. Never used it, so not sure about how that is. But that as well transfers your Indian credit history to US, but I don't know how well that works. So that these things are there. And once you get your SSN, there's Discover, that you can get Discover Students Card, which won't be workable in like some stores like Oasis and all. But yeah, but it works in most of the places, but except Oasis and a few more places. So that's there too. For registration of courses, do we need to add the classes from AdDrop courses in Hokispa? Yes, for registration of courses, so there are two portals. One is AdDrop and one is Hoki Scheduler. So you can use either of them to add your courses and build a schedule for yourself. Both of them are available in Hokispa, and you can even talk to your academic advisor on how to go about it, and they'll be pretty helpful about it. Sahil, would you like to take a few questions?
Yeah. I don't think I know much about this signing lease agreement thing, but the move-in dates are 22nd August. Is it possible to move in earlier? Yeah, I think it's okay. You can move in anytime. Is it about the dorm thing? Like whoever asked this question, because for the dorms move-in, I'm not sure how it works. Laksh, you might be knowing it better.
For dorms, if it is like the move-in dates for dorms is between 20 and 22nd, is it possible? If it's for dorms, then yes, you can, but it's better that you contact housing department on how things are going to work, because there's a early move-in date and then there's a normal one, which is 20 to 22nd. So if you like move earlier, they usually allow it, but you will have to go through some other procedure to get your P, because access you can get access to the buildings only through your P. So you might have to you might want to consider contacting the housing department, for which the email is, I think, housing@bt.edu. So you can contact them about that, and they'll be able to help you out much better. Is
Then
Black, yeah.
Blacksburg friendly, bicycle friendly. Yeah, I would say like I own a bicycle myself, but during the winters it's not. But apart from winters, like most parts of the year, it is. Also, like there's a way you can like keep your bicycle on the bus and go to the campus and then move around the campus on your bicycle.
Although, if you're planning for e-scooters or anything, those are banned now at the campus, so
Yeah, you can't
don't
park
get
there.
them. Yeah. Is Visa or Master credit card available? I hold an Indian Visa credit card. Uh, what do you mean by is it available? Yes, there are many banks that provide it. Like Solve gives a MasterCard or Visa card, and a lot of other banks do. But if you don't have a credit history here, the first thing that probably would be Discover, that people get if you get an SSN, that is, but without a credit history. And then after a few months, you can get a MasterCard or Visa card from any other bank. But yeah, there are Visa and MasterCards available, but again, it's based on your SSN and credit history. For SSN, Sahil, there's a
How can
question about how can we get SSN.
uh like the HSN office is in Roanoke, so you have to apply and get your documents and everything and go to Roanoke for a day and then get it done. It's not that tough to get. It's just you have to fill the forms and all the formalities. Go there for like if it's not crowded, you'll hardly take 10 to 15 minutes. That's what it took me. But depending on the crowd and the people arriving there on the day, it depends. Like it's not get like hard to get it. You just have to do the formalities and get done.
And one of the requirements is to have a job, like an on-campus job at least. Without that,
Yes,
you cannot have
you
like an
need to have
offer letter. Yeah.
on-campus job or something to get a SSN.
Hello, this is Manu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little about the on-campus jobs? Like, are they available, or how do you approach for it, or something like that?
So we had discussed this in our last webinar, so you can get detailed information through that. But if you want to apply for on-campus jobs, you can go through Handshake and you can see all the openings that are available. One job that is always available from what I've seen is dining, so that's one of them. But there's GTA, UTA, GRA, and URAs as well. So you can apply to those as well. And once you get an offer letter, you can go for the SSN part and all. So yeah, if you want more details, you can check out our previous webinars. I'm not sure it's either three, summer webinar three or two. So you can just go ahead on that.
Where can I check those previous webinars?
It's in our link tree. You can just scan this code and just check the summer webinar resources link through that.
Hi, I had a question regarding commute.
Yeah.
Was this the one, the landing in Washington? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
so yeah, this is like a very generic thing. Most flights arrive in DC in the morning, and like it's not predictable that you will be done by 10 to get the megabus, like for the immigration and everything. So like from what I know, like some of my friends, what they did was like they stayed there for a night and then took the bus the other morning. Like that's the best way, I think, like what I know from the people around. If you're
But I
landing,
think you get trains until 5 p.m., so you can try Amtrak as well.
It's reaching at 10 p.m. In Roanoke. So will I get any transit from Roanoke to Blacksburg at that?
So
Yeah,
there's
I think,
SmartWay bus.
yeah, this one with us.
So
Okay,
like
so
SmartWay bus and the Amtrak has partnered or something like that. So the timings or some things go accordingly. So they have planned their timings accordingly, like when Amtrak reaches and when the SmartWay bus should be there to pick up people from there. So there's some kind of a link between them. So there's transportation, but worst case scenario is a cab from Roanoke to VT in case you miss the bus or there's no bus. You'll have to check their timings through SmartWay Buses website.
over the weekends also, I think the Smartway schedule is a little different and there are less buses.
okay, sure. Thank you.
For paying our fees, do we need to use forex exchange services or we can pay in INR? So there's Flywire that people use for paying the fees, or if it is like a loan or something like that, and the bank is directly going to deposit, you may want to consider contacting the bursar, and they will about the query, like if you want to pay like through bank transfer, which is a different case, like if you don't want to go through Flywire, so that's there. But usually, people pay their fees through Flywire, or like in their bank once you get your bank accounts and use through that either. So that's like one of the two ways that you can get it. Is it
And apart from the credit cards and debit cards, like how UPI works here for us in India, are the alternatives there?
there's Zelle and Venmo. So that's there. Zelle is once you get a bank account in US, it's a built-in thing within the your bank's app. And Venmo is a separate service that runs like, yeah, those are
Okay,
two.
and is it accessible everywhere, like in every, I mean, general store till every shopping mall, or
No,
I mean,
no,
No, no,
no.
it's just for
That's between friends.
data. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
For
And which
stores,
one which one is most suggestible, like for payments and all?
Ease of access is Zelle because almost everyone will have it because if they have a bank account.
Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm asking in like
in stores,
the store point of view, like where do you get, like which one is available in every store?
no services like this are available, I guess. It's only through
Yeah.
Pay or
The
receipt.
stores only expect credit, debit, or cash. That's all they accept.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it a good idea to land at Washington Airport after it gets dark? Need to get Blacksburg after that. I mean, you could, but a better option would be to stay in Washington because it's like a 5 hour journey almost from Washington to Blacksburg. It's much more convenient to just stay a night and take a bus or like a cab or whatever way you've planned. What are some sites to apply for part-time jobs? Would it be too late to apply after arriving on campus? So there's no part-time jobs as such you can work because if you're on your F1 status, if you're an F1 student, on your F1 status, you're not allowed to work
outside the
apart
campus.
yeah, outside the campus, which is not related to your major. And for that also you need to have a CPT or OPT. So that's one of the things. And for on-campus jobs, you can work them. Like, it's not too late when you arrive on campus, although lesser opportunities are available if you apply once you're at the campus, because most people recruit, especially for positions like UTA, GTA, URA, and GRA. So yeah. Do we need to do anything other than just adding classes for registration? Not really. You just add your classes and you're pretty much done. Although it might ask you that few formalities are remaining to cover up, so that's there.
Hey Lakshya, so how can we apply for GRA, UT, and TA?
Through Handshake. Handshake is
Oh,
your way to go for on-campus jobs, or contact your professors if they have UTA or URA or GRA, GTA positions available. GTAs and GRAs are for graduate students, which is masters and PhD, and URA and UTA is for undergraduate students. So yeah. Yes, about Indian groceries you can get nearby, but not a lot. But yeah, it's Oasis as we mentioned it in our webinar. So you can get your Indian groceries at Oasis, and it's accessible through the bus as well. So yeah. Deadline about the fall semester tuition would be a better person to answer that would be the bursar because we're not sure about the dates as they're like fluctuating or like at least not very clear on paper. So it's better to contact the bursar on that. Sahil, there's a question about RA or GTA.
Uh, this is totally dependent on professor and department, I guess, because like for CS people, non-thesis MH, you don't get RATs in your within your department. You can find it in other departments, but for other departments, it totally depends on the department and the professors which you are talking to. Or
So for paying the fees in installments, there's this thing called budget tuition planner, but you have to pay a separate fees for that, like $45 or $50. And they have set deadlines. But for that, you must have a bank account and you cannot, I am not sure. It depends upon what's the deadline for the fees.
yeah,
So
I did that in my last semester. So it's like I think it's when like the semester start date, it like 1 week after that it starts the payment and it's like every month. So it takes the payment in like 4 installments, which are like auto swept from your account. So you need to have a bank account and you have to save it in your account details so that it gets deducted from there.
yeah.
Right.
But about paying it after you arrive at to Blacksburg depends upon the deadlines. If it's budget tuition plan, maybe if you're able to get a bank account in time, but for enrolling as well, you must have a bank account detail, which is unlikely if you're not already there in US and have a bank account.
Oops.
Uh, you can talk to like the bursar about it, but the details are pretty much very clear about it on the paying site, like through the website you pay, like on HockeySpa, there's pretty clear details about it. Where can I find a list of health insurance companies that qualify VT's favor condition? If there's one, could you recommend the most popular? also do
Yeah.
forex. Uh, so about what I would say is that about health insurance. So there's not a company as such. It depends upon the conditions if you meet the minimum requirement of VT. So more of that is going to be discussed in the next webinar, like which is on 2nd July, I believe. And so everything in detail could be discussed there, like about what's the waiver conditions and which is the most popular. From what I've seen, there are a lot of companies. There's ISO, PSI, Student Medicover, and since we are partnered with Student Medicover, we would say that there are like two most popular plans over there, and which in some terms is better than Aetna, the one that VD provides, and the health insurance provider that they use is United Healthcare. So it's a pretty good network as well. So you can go for Student Medicover and you wouldn't face any issues because I'm personally using that as well. So yeah. And Forex cards work in most places. Like if it's a Visa or MasterCard, it will work everywhere. So yeah. For SmartWay bus timings, you can check the website that has been given.
Someone posted the
Yeah.
link in there.
Yeah, that's great. Uh, Sahil?
Yeah, the flat-based cooker is going to work with coil-based stuff as well as induction, both.
For sending your high school mark sheets to VT, it's usually a school counselor or someone like authorized from your school has to send it for it to be a verified source. So that has to be done. So it's over the mail or they have a postal address as well. You can send it through that as well. So yeah. And yes, bank
Can I
accounts
bring it
can
with me, the
you
high
can
school
bring
mark?
it with you, but they really won't accept it. They will need it either by post or by mail. And if it's through mail, they have certain if it's through mail, it has to be from someone from your school. That has to be the one.
And what about
So yeah.
like bachelor's transcript?
Sahil
I
or
think you
Hasti.
can get it. Yeah, I think you can get it in physical as well, but it should be sealed and given to you by your university. Like that's what I did.
Yeah, you can ask your previous university to mail VT. So if that works.
Yeah.
That also.
And yes,
Okay,
Neil, you
thanks.
can get a bank account without SSN. SSN is only required for credit cards. And then once you get your SSN, you can link your bank account with it to have everything linked. What banks would you suggest to create an account with? Is there any minimum balance required? So, as for banks, most students go for Wells Fargo or Truist, but most of them are like towards Wells Fargo, being depending upon where they get the appointment first. And we have ATMs in Squires for Wells Fargo, Truist, and Bank of America. So you really won't face any issues in terms of depositing money, depositing cash, or like withdrawing it. And yeah, there's no Bank of America branch in Blacksburg, so you won't be able to do anything with the financial center. But yeah. And as for minimum balance, from most banks, from what I've seen, if you're under the age of 25, there's no minimum balance requirement until you turn 25. But that also depends on the kind of account you open with them. They have like several options. So it's better to discuss with a banker that you want no minimum balance. But it's mostly for the people under the age of 25. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sahil or Harsti.
Yeah.
Sahil or
When
Harsti.
does
Yeah.
so CPT you usually apply for internships and not for part-time job, and you have to contact Cranwell for that. So once you show your internship offer letter, you can apply for either 3 or 6 months CPT according to your field. Yeah, you can use your Indian credit card for groceries, and uh, it is acceptable in all the stores in Blacksburg.
Make sure it's
Right.
Visa and MasterCard, and international transactions are enabled.
Yeah.
What can I do if the class I want to register is full? About that, contact your advisor. Usually there's a force add request option, but only for some classes. But if it's full, then there's no other way. If your advisor says there's no other way. So yeah. And
Apart from the bus transportation, which is about I don't think you'll need any other thing than a bus on PT campus because it's the best way to move around. And like I said, in the winters, it's not like easy to bicycle around because of the weather and the wind. But yeah, other than that, I think the bus is the best way to move around in the entire Blacksburg, I'd say.
bus is there on weekdays, it's there like once in full service, it's almost there in like every 15 minutes.
You have a
So
bus.
yeah, if you're in Heathwood, then it's about 20-25 minutes in weekdays, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But during normal, like without winters, bicycle or bus, and during winters, only buses. But in winters, the bus timings reduce, like once the classes are over. So do keep in mind as well. Is health insurance of $3,500 to be paid in installments annually, charged along with our tuition fee? No. So if you're getting it from VT, or basically if you get it from anywhere else, uh, it's one-time payment itself. Like you pay for the whole year at once. So 3,500 goes at once itself. And uh, that's the same with all companies. In VT, if you get a budget tuition plan, I think they divide it then because it's added to your fees receipt instead of like you getting a waiver. So yeah.
Okay.
I had submitted my transcripts during admission process, so do we need to send them physically also? Uh, so if they ask you for it, then yes, but not physically. They give you an option to submit it physically or through mail. But the mail is always through from your school or like your university, depending on wherever you go. How's the commute at night after my class till 7:50? So you can the BT transit buses are working on weekdays until 12 and during the weekends until 2 a.m. So it's not really an issue. You can travel safely at night as well. It's not a big deal. So even if you have class till 7:50, you're good to go. Would you recommend Zolve bank account or should we open bank account after? Zolve bank account personally I've never used. So it's better that you have one physically, like from Wells Fargo or Truist, because if you face any issues, you can directly go to the financial center and get the issue resolved. Otherwise, it's a hassle to contact Zolve since it's an online bank. That's my recommendation, but yeah. Can you talk more about the transcripts? Do we have to send the original or tested one by previous university? Sahil or Hasti?
You can either do anything, like you can send original at your own risk, or you can ask your previous universities to send it. And once they receive it, you can ask them, like you can drop them a mail if they require an original copy. So you're
Yeah.
secured.
So it's best that you do it from the universities and because then there's no chance of like issues. Like that's very minimal. As for physical sealed LORs, if it's for undergrad, I don't think so because I have not had to. So I don't think so it's
Not even for
required.
the post, they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
require sealed amounts.
The LORs are usually there just for the common app application when you do it, or the other way. But yeah. Any other questions? Asti?
Yeah, it is comfortable to travel by bus even at night, and it's safe, so you don't have to worry. If you're like it is late at night and the buses are not working, you can take an Uber or you can walk. It's fine.
There's this VT Rescue Squad as well, or VT something. I forgot the name of it, but that's also working in case like if you're feeling like if you feel unsafe and if you want to travel from one place to another and it's urgent, then I think there is this service, I forgot the name, ride-on service or something like that. So you can use that as well if in the worst case scenario if you're feeling unsafe, or otherwise Ubers and Lyft is always there. Seniors for your course, there's no WhatsApp groups as such from our end, like from what I know. Uh, so it's like best to ask in the group, maybe someone is a part of it and you can get connected through that. Or otherwise you can join the other ISA groups and get to just ask like if there are any seniors of like your course, which is computer engineering. You can just ask in the groups. Like there's fall 20 groups, there's spring 20 and several others. So you can just ask in there as well. And that's your best way
And
to
you
get
can
to know
also
them.
use LinkedIn if you want to know more about
Yeah,
seniors.
that's also a good source.
Will my credit rating get transferred to? I don't think it gets transferred. You have to build your credit score in US from
Yeah,
scratch.
it's a from scratch thing. That's also when you get your SSN, then yeah.
So now they will be attending it depends, like you mostly have like 3 courses per semester for masters, if it's non-thesis, right, Hasti? Like for thesis,
Yeah,
I think courses.
for thesis, like you need to take 15 credits, I think, per semester. 12 or 15 credits.
So it depends on your classes. Maybe like it might happen that you have all the classes on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, like 2 days, and you just need to come for those 2 days. Or it'd be like one course on Mondays and Wednesdays, the other on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it totally depends on your course schedule. But mostly be like 2 to 4 days, and that too for a couple of hours.
Anything else?
I think someone was asking about the pointers for before signing the lease.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, so you should, I think you should check the start and the ending date. Mostly that's very important. Also, you can check the deposit, like how much you have to pay. And you can also show your company, like before you move in, you can show them around the house and you can show the defect so that they don't charge it on your deposit later on.
Yeah. How do I transfer my savings amount from Indian bank to the bank here? Would you recommend changing it to NRI or transfer money through bank, which again would charge dollar conversion? It's really depending upon what's more cost effective for you at the end, because every bank is like charges would be like if whenever you transfer internationally from the Indian bank to US bank, they charge in Wells Fargo at least they charge a $15 fee because it's considered as a wire transfer, but that's a flat $15. So if even if you like transfer like $5 or like any amount basically, so that would be a $15 charge. Otherwise, yeah. So it's like to transfer from Indian bank to here, it's like a normal transfer process. Once you have the bank account and the SWIFT code from here, SWIFT code or what's the
Yeah.
routing number from here, you can use that.
Station is 1.2 miles away from my stay. Is it too far? Where, like, I'm just curious, where is he staying, the person? Because 1.2 miles from a bus stop. I don't think so.
1.2 miles is like a kilometer and a half or something like that,
More than that.
and more than that. So that's like a good 15-20 minutes walk. So
Cedar. Yeah, it's far, I think, Cedar.
it's quite far if your bus stop is like is it the nearest bus stop? Because usually every society
No, I
has
think
like,
Cedar, I went there once. I think Cedar is not around campus. It's a little far on the other end.
okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite far. 15-20 minutes walk if you're willing to walk that much. Sahil?
I don't know. I'm continuing my lease, so I have no clue about it. But mostly, like, my friends have like done it. They've finished and they left. I think they got most of it, but it totally depends on how you've stayed in that house. If you've maintained it well, if you've not damaged any property of theirs, I think you get it. It's mostly the cleaning fees that they charge the most because I don't know if we are capable to clean that much if how much they wanted. So I don't think
Yeah.
it's a hassle if you live peacefully there.
Anything else? I think if there's not no other questions, then I think let's end this webinar. Thank you all for joining. And if you have any feedback, just give us on the form that we have linked over here. And do think about joining ISA as it's a pretty fun committee, I would say. And you get a lot of good experience and there's something to put on your resume. So yeah, thank you.